rebel warriors, with 30 credits per head as reward. The mission ends with each of them receiving shiny new weapons, and Fang ends up with a spear. While Fang is testing out his new weapon, his teacher shows up and tells him to stop cultivating like he's trying to break everything. She then gives him a sword technique called Blood Burst Blade by Governor Zhang and asks him to train well with it. The story jumps ahead and the day of the grand competition finally arrives. The host makes a flashy entrance, shooting down from the sky and revealing himself as Liu Horong. He warns the crowd that this isn't some celebrity concert, so they better not cause trouble. Turns out Fang's sister has also shown up to cheer her brother on, and to no one's surprise, the fat YouTuber named Liu Dali, who loves pretending he risks his life for fan content, is there too, running his mouth like always. Yuan stops by to meet Fang along with some of his friends and finds out that her brother's been made the captain of their team. Everyone keeps calling Yuan president, and when Fang asks what's going on, she proudly tells him that she started a Yuan Ping club and made herself the president with him as the vice president. Fang finds the whole idea ridiculous, but what really bothers him is that it should have been called Ping Yuan, not the other way around. He also finds out that the YouTuber, whom Yuan proudly calls her journalist, has somehow joined their crew too, hoping to dig up some juicy updates about the competition. The competition kicks off, and one by one, each team's captain is called to the stage. The host introduces the matchmaking system using a set of lottery balls, then hypes up the crowd by presenting the favorites to win. First up is the red uniform team from Jingdu Martial Arts School, led by their captain Han Su, who also happens to be the reigning national martial arts champion. Then come the green and yellow teams from the Martial University Alliance and the 8 School Alliance. Finally, the host gets to Mo's team, pointing out their captain Fang, and says that he seems like a complete newbie who's barely known by anyone. With all captains gathered, the draw begins. What should have been a simple lottery suddenly feels intense, with all eyes locked on the results. As the balls roll and settle, it's revealed that Mo's blue team will be facing off against the yellow team in the second round. As the epic match kicks off between the red and green team captains, the fighters introduce themselves as Han Shu and Sun. Wasting no time, Sun launches a powerful move right out the gate, diving into a fierce battle against Han Shu. But despite the aggression, he barely scratches his opponent. He follows up with a technique called forward slash, but Han Su dodges effortlessly, countering with his void stance. Things heat up as Han Su pulls out his signature move, the Rising Sun combo, but to everyone's surprise, Sun swats it away like it's nothing. As the battle heats up, Han Su slips into a ghostly footwork, dodging what could have been a fatal strike with ease. In the blink of an eye, he flashes behind Sun, catching him off guard and drives his weapon into Sun's chest. Gritting through the pain, Sun grabs onto Han Su's spear and yanks him closer, thinking he's finally got him. But just when it seems like the tables have turned, Han Su flips the fight again, leaving Sun no choice but to surrender. Meanwhile, outside the battlefield, Qin casually tells Wang that his junior Fang is up next and bets he won't even survive the second round. But Wang doesn't bother replying much and just tells him to mind his own business. After a short break, the host finally announces it's time for the second match. Yuan rushes over to her brother in tears, begging him not to fight, but Fang just smiles and walks toward the arena, calling himself a warrior. News of the upcoming match spreads across the country, and everyone's buzzing with excitement. Even Fang's father has taken the day off just to watch his son's match. The host reads out Fang's introduction but freezes for a second when he spots that Fang's ace technique is the legendary Lion's Roar. Zhang Guanglin, who is Fang's opponent, scoffs and asks if he actually knows how to use it, but Fang brushes him off, saying he's still gathering energy and shouldn't be interrupted. Zhang scans him and keeps spotting flaws everywhere, but the more he thinks, the more he starts to find everything is sus. Fang casually drops his weapon, forcing Zhang into a defensive stance, but then messes with him by simply changing position, making the guy look like a clown. Zhang gets irritated and jumps into the air to use his Thunder Strike, but Fang deflects it like it's nothing, making it clear he'd been baiting him from the start. Then Fang does something unexpected, separating his weapon into 2 parts. The hidden piece turns out to be a phoenix knife, and Zhang instantly gets nervous. As the fight intensifies, Fang charges up and unleashes the Blood Burst Frenzy, the move his teacher, Liu, asked him to master. The attack lands clean, sending Zhang from the yellow team flying out of the ring. Fang shatters Zhang's weapon and makes him concede, winning the match in barely any time. The crowd erupts and Fang helps his opponent to his feet. Fu gets pumped up thinking Fang will let him go next, but the moment the host asks, his hopes crash as Fang decides to keep going. The guy from the yellow team lowers his head and apologizes to his captain for losing composure, but the captain reassures him, saying he managed to force Fang to reveal his trump card, and a martial artist of Fang's level shouldn't be able to pull off such a move again without time to recover. Just then, Fang pops 2 energy pills, clearly trying to cover his tracks, and it works. The captain believes that even 5 pills wouldn't help someone recover that fast. But suddenly, the host announces that Fang's energy has not only recovered, but is stronger than before, all in under 20 seconds. The Grandmasters watching from above start murmuring, realizing this kid must have a monstrous physique to absorb pills that quickly. The yellow team captain turns to their second member, Chen, and tells him to aim for Fang's lower body as it might be his only shot at winning. With that, round 2 begins and Chen dives in without even waiting for an introduction. The battle rages on until just when Chen starts to feel like he's got the upper hand, Fang fires off a 2-stage kick and knocks him out cold, securing a second straight win. The crowd goes wild, and when the host asks if he still wants to continue, Fang gives a simple nod. That's when the yellow team captain Weibin realizes he messed up by underestimating this guy. Not wanting to give Fang time to recover, he immediately jumps into the arena and launches a full-force attack. Fang barely dodges and complains that he didn't even get to take his pills yet. Another intense fight breaks out, but Fang once again stuns everyone by pulling off something completely unexpected. He uses the void standing state and hovers in midair like he's flying. Even his own team and the chief guests watching from above are left wondering when the hell he even had time to train for all this. Fang lands back on the ground, casually claiming this one's going to be an easy win, then dives into a flashy duel with Weibin. For a moment, it straight up looks like a Beyblade showdown with how fast they're spinning around the arena, and then things get way more intense. Weibin powers up using some superhero-level technique, and the sheer impact of it makes the guy shirtless, revealing a fine muscular body that makes the crowd go wild. Fang tries to interrupt the move mid-charge, but can't even get the guy to flinch. The shirtless beast locks him up again, and the clash turns mythical. Weibin transforms into a roaring spirit lion while Fang takes on the form of a fierce bluish phoenix. Their moves keep draining each other out with every strike. Weibin's sister watches the match on TV, nervously cheering her brother on. Both sides charge in for one final punch-off. The whole arena holds its breath, and when the dust settles, it's Fang who's still standing. He wins the third round by default as Weibin's health points drop to 0, locking in yet another insane victory. The next day, the announcer reveals the matchups and announces that Jinwoo's red team will face off against the team representing Mo next. Later in the locker room, Fang asks Tang why he isn't fighting, and Tang explains that only 5 players are allowed in the match, and since he's already shown all his tricks, it's time for the others to hold their cards close. The rest of the group insists they're not scared of the weaklings from Jinwoo, but Tang snaps back that they need to save their real strength for the finals. The lady backs him up, adding that they still haven't seen what the enemy team is fully capable of. In the end, Tang leaves the decision to Fang, who chooses to respect the instructor's advice. With that settled, the team heads into the arena with only 5 members selected. Fang's sister and the opposing team stunned by his unexpected absence. Fu hypes Shumi up with some pep talk and brags that he's about to roast Han Shu using his family's dragon arts. Just then, Fang steps into the arena and tells his buddy to stay focused and wreck the enemy. Right after, the first match kicks off with Xume stepping in to face Shuji from Jinwoo, who hasn't lost a single round in 6 straight. They bow and introduce themselves before the fight begins, and Shuji instantly lunges at her with his spear striking hard and fast. Shumi blocks it with her bare arms for a moment, but gets sent flying when it turns out he'd been hiding his real strength all along. Shumi pushes back into the fight to prove she's not going down easy, but the hits start stacking up while the enemy captain explains Shuji's stacked enough points to throw out 5 full power blows like the one that sent her flying. Shuji closes the gap in a flash, and she takes his second strike head-on, her bones rattling hard as she somehow shoves him back. He recovers quickly though and fires off a third full-powered blast that snaps her bones like twigs and wipes out 60 health points. Her ridiculous durability starts getting on both the captain and Shuji's nerves, so he comes in again with another full-strength attack meant to finish her off. Just when he thinks he's won, Shume catches him off guard by spitting out a blood arrow straight to the face. With him blinded, they clash like Naruto and Sasuke. As he goes all in, she ends it with a kick to the nads so nasty even Mike Tyson would cry. Every guy in the ring flinches in silence as Shumi is declared the first round's winner. When Fang hears that her broken bones putting her out of commission for 3 whole months, he gets seriously pissed and starts questioning whether it even makes sense to keep holding back. Meanwhile, Fu's fired up and wastes no time leaping into the ring to take on Han Su. As he charges in, Shu suddenly appears behind him with that sneaky ghost step move and tries to land a surprise hit, but Fu smoothly counters with a clean back strike. Shu doesn't let up though and follows it up with raw force, blasting Fu away like he's nothing and making him cough up blood. Fu brings out the Lu family's spear technique and throws a dragon at Xu. who casually deflects it like it's no big deal. While everyone's eyes follow the attack flying toward the crowd, Fu takes the chance to surprise Xu with a sucker punch that knocks a few teeth loose, but Xu quickly bounces back and finishes the match with a clean counter. As Fu walks off, he cracks everyone up and leaves Xiaoman fired up to take over. She charges at Xu barehanded, and to match her, he drops his weapon to beat her up with his fists. When she throws a punch, he grabs it easily and stops her sneaky kick with his rock-solid quads and surprises everyone. But then she slams her forehead into his, and it works like a charm since no one their level tempers the skull. She comes at him again with a Jackie Chan-style kick that he counters with a brutal stab to her shoulder. But Xiaoman proves she's still the boss by smashing her receding hairline into his cracked dome one more time. With that, Jingwu sends their third fighter, who takes on Zhao Lei. Meanwhile, Wang and Qin are on the run after Wang stole a giant crystal for resources on a mission to get strong enough to save his mentor. Back in the arena, Zhao Lei gives it everything he's got, but the opponent easily dodges every move and knocks him out without even trying. Right after, the same guy mocks the last member of Fang's team into making a move, then casually punches him into the ground, ending Mo's shot the finals. As the guy walks off laughing and lights a fire inside of Fang. After getting wrecked by Jingwu, Fang Ping pulls a sneaky move and manages to lure Lai Xiaoxu and Xiao Yikai into a triangle formation. Somehow they beat the Wu University Alliance in the elimination round, grabbing one last shot at winning the competition. Most of the team ends up lying around like half-dead warriors on hospital beds, but that's when the lion head shows up and starts giving a classic hype speech. He tells Fang to fire up the team, and Fang steps up to do just that. A guy asks Master Tang who the final 3 fighters will be, but Tang leaves the choice to Fang. That's when Youngxi speaks up, asking for a chance. Her master isn't too thrilled about it, but Fang backs her up and picks her to go head-to-head against Jin Lei. The match between Mowu and Jingwu sets off a storm online, with fans all over debating who to root for. Mowu's support rate starts crashing fast, but before anyone can blink, the first lineup gets announced and Jin Lei is up against Zhang from Jingwu. Both step in looking like pro boxers, and after a quick formal intro, Jin wastes no time charging straight in. Zhang braces for a head-on clash, but out of nowhere, Jin slides right under him, slowing himself down by dragging his gloves along the ground to build friction. He flips direction mid-motion and strikes from behind, revealing that speed and agility are his secret weapons. Zhang gets hit hard and starts bleeding, but the big guy powers up and suddenly turns the fight around just when Jin seems close to victory, securing the first win for Jingwu. He sticks around for the second round too, acting all flashy, and that's when Chen Youngxi steps up. As she walks in, she worries for the guy and tells him he should probably sit this one out. But Zhang underestimates her, thinking she's just a delicate girl, and fires off a brutal cannon fist that nearly knocks her out cold. But right as the host is about to call it, a miracle happens. Her revitalizing pill kicks in, and she rises from the floor, winning the round by default as Zhang collapses from exhaustion. With the score tied, Fang Wenxing shows up next, skipping any introductions and going all out with his punches. Youngxi finally stops holding back and goes all in with her mid-tier combat move called the 18-link kicks, each one landing hard and throwing Fang Wenxing off balance. But before she can finish the combo, the guy grabs her leg and slams her to the ground, then starts using a hidden technique from the Dong Fang family that looks like it could end her right there. Just in time, Fang Ping steps in and blocks the attack, staving her and conceding the round. He then faces off against the other Fang and absolutely humiliates him for even thinking he could win in such a drained state. With that out of the way, it's time for the final battle between the team captains. Han Xu steps up and throws himself into a fast-paced fight against Fang, who goes for his blood-burst frenzy again, but Han counters with a move of his own, stopping it in midair. As Han takes the upper hand, the commentator tries to talk trash, only for Fang to shut him up mid-battle, making it clear he's not the one getting dominated. Fang then splits his weapon again and goes for another strong move, but Han sees through it and lands a sharp hit that injures him. Fang quickly fakes taking pills and secretly uses his system to restore his energy, ready for the next round. Meanwhile, Senior Wang and Qin lie back on their hospital beds with their bones still healing, chatting about how there's no way someone could recover that much vitality just by popping a bunch of pills. Back in the arena, Fu charges up and unleashes a storm of attacks straight at our boy, going all in and slamming Fang to the ground, leaving him beaten and barely moving. Just when it looks like everything's over, Fang suddenly finds himself floating in greenish-blue light on top of the system statue. He starts thinking hard, looking for any possible way to flip this hopeless fight, and then, out of nowhere, recovers completely, making it look like he just used a life-returning pill. Han tells him that his old frenzy technique won't help, but Fang refuses to back down. He fires back with a new move called Tiger Breaks the Army and chains it with more brutal hits, finally turning the tide and taking the win. That marks the end of the 3-day competition, with Fang's landslide victory against Xu earning him tons of prizes, and the announcer declares that they will meet for part 2 after the New Year holidays. Meanwhile, Fang learns not to take the competition lightly anymore, so he uses every second to train hard and grow stronger without relying on the system. Later that day, Fang heads out with his sister and the dorm crew as they all make their way home, chatting about how they need to keep up with him if they don't want to fall behind. On the way, he corners the greedy fat guy about that so-called exclusive coverage he never delivered and demands a fair cut of his profits as payback, which has the guy practically wetting himself before making a run for it. Right then, Fu and the others catch up and his friend says he's fully healed, while Xiaoman smirks and says anyone not at second rank by the start of school is officially gay, giving Youngxi a pointed look. With that, they all exchange goodbyes and Fang heads off for the train. On board, his sister is surprised he only ranks 6th in the tournament, but he shrugs it off, saying it doesn't matter since he snuck into the control room and found out he's actually 2nd rank now, and blows his classmate's mind. Though they get hyped, he tells everyone to keep it quiet for now. His classmate jokes that he's catching up to Wang, but Fang fires back that Wang's already gunning for 4th rank, and just like that he's fired up again to keep chasing after his big bro's footsteps. Fang feels happy on his walk home, seeing the festivities and how nothing seems to have changed. He gives his autograph to some kids on the street, and the day ends with a heartwarming reunion with his parents. The next morning, he heads out for a walk when the agent who took the bounty guy away greets him and casually mentions that for his role in taking down Huang Bin and earning top marks in the martial arts competition, the city has decided to back him up by gifting him his own studio apartment right in the fancy neighborhood where his sister goes to school, which makes Fang speechless. He quickly calls up Wang to ask why he didn't claim his share since he contributed the most, but the senior aura farmer says he doesn't need it and points out Fang could use the extra space to train freely without bothering his family. Fang offers a meal to thank him, though Wang says he's buried in work and promises they'll catch up soon. With that, Fang moves into the Guxia class apartment with his family and they settle in together, filling the place with chill energy as the New Year holidays roll by. After the holidays, Fang shares that he's ranked 2nd and shocks everyone. Just then, an old friend calls, inviting him to Nanwu, and he agrees since it's been a while since he saw Wang. Fu asks what it's about, and Fang says they can all come too, which gets everyone excited for the trip. As the team reaches Nanwu, they're impressed by how elegant and well-kept the place looks. The peaceful vibe even gets the ladies talking about how calming it feels, but the moment doesn't last long as a troublemaker barges in, cursing and trying to stir up drama. Just then, Wang arrives and warmly welcomes his junior Fang along with the rest of the group to the prestigious Nanjingwu University. He casually asks Fang if he's already hit the peak of the 2nd level and then throws out a playful suggestion that he wants Fang to humiliate the Nanwu students the same way he did to Mo back when he visited there. Wang explains that the students here have become a little too comfortable and could use a wake-up call to reignite their drive. Breaking it down, he invites Fang to join a mock 2nd-tier match against Nanwu's squad. Though Fang initially tries to decline, his teammates get hyped about it, and with Wang sweetening the deal by throwing in some pills as a reward, our boy finally gives in and accepts. Fang makes a call to his lion-faced master Tang and tries buttering him up to send around 50 2nd-tier pills. Tang instantly explodes with anger at the outrageous request, but eventually agrees to send a batch of 1st-tier pills along with 5 2nd-tier ones. To fire up his fellow schoolmates, Wang boldly suggests to the principal that they should expel 90% of Nanwu's students if they fail against the recently promoted 2nd-tier students from Mo. He argues that this would allow the school to focus its resources on nurturing a handful of elite warriors who actually have the will to fight instead of wasting time on unmotivated slackers. The proposal causes an uproar across Nanwu. The principal shockingly agrees without much hesitation. Wang then declares the rules of the mock battle, which are as simple as the winner stays, the loser leaves, and the last one standing will be declared the victor. With tension in the air, the fight kicks off as Nanwu's 3rd-year student Chen Pengfei steps up against Mo's 1st-year Zhao Lei. However, the match turns out to be a breeze for Zhao Lei as he effortlessly secures the win. Choosing not to go another round, he steps down and Fang straps in for the 2nd fight, keeping his promise to Senior Wang. As soon as Fang steps onto the stage, a wave of commotion erupts across Nanwu with students buzzing in disbelief, wondering how this guy managed to level up so fast. To face him, Lady Langkei steps in. Fang immediately provokes her by joking that her name basically means rotten vegetable leaves, which makes Lan dash toward our boy in fury. She gets aggressive, but Fang toys with her effortlessly, and just when she mocks him for running like a scaredy cat, he flips the script and knocks her off the stage, forcing her to flee and give up. Next up, The gray-haired guy enters the arena, but before he can even introduce himself, Fang cuts him off saying he doesn't bother remembering weaklings. That fight ends in no time, and then a new challenger steps in, burning with bright red flames. Fang admits this guy looks like a proper opponent and throws his weapon aside, going barehanded. His fists start bleeding with every strike, but the opponent barely flinches, simply shaking off the impact. This time the battle actually lasts for a good while, and since Fang has been playing around the whole time, he ends up getting caught in a tight spot. His opponent's fiery horse technique pins him down, leaving our boy cornered with barely any room to move. Fang takes the hit head-on and gets blasted away looking like burnt scraps, but still gets up and lunges at his enemy, who nails him with a punch to the gut. Getting desperate, he throws every attack he knows in a wild frenzy. As they keep trading punches, everyone starts to worry, then the two unleash all their energy and clash fists so hard that the crowd winces. Just when they seem ready to stop, Fang runs out of energy, so he slams his head into Xiang's skull again and again and finishes him off like a rabid dog, and then yells for the next piece of trash to bring it on. Wang steps in and tells him he's done enough, then shouts to the crowd asking if anyone dares challenge him. When no one answers, he calls it disgusting that they've gone weak and tells them to reclaim their honor by crushing the Mo's scum, which fires up the crowd, just as Wang had planned all along. The next day at school, Fang walks into the training building. Teacher Lu tells him to meet at where he sees Qin absolutely wipe the floor with one guy and hurl the other into the ceiling like a baseball. An NPC around Fang's level then challenges Qin, who shows the power of third rank, unfazed even by kicks to his steel-hard crotch. After showing off, Qin spots Fang and tells the last guy standing that his favorite junior will fight in his place, but teacher Lu launches him into the wall with a brutal punch for wrecking the school's property. She tells Fang to follow and completely ignores the half-dead sharp boy. As they walk, she explains the training facilities meant for breakthroughs, and inside the waiting room, she breaks down how third-rank warriors like Qin are basically titanium everywhere but the brain. To reach that level, Fang needs to refine not just his bones but every inch of his body to gain the kind of insane power of the third rank that would let him one-shot someone like Gushang. With that, the guy at the counter straight-up scams Fang out of all his points with zero room to bargain, and Fang heads into the training room. After sitting down, he focuses like he's possessed, and his eyes glow like Superman as his vitality points plummet and a monstrous aura surrounds him like Goku on steroids, leaving Lu stunned as she realizes he might actually be a future master. His meridians snap into alignment so fast that even Fang is shocked by his sudden breakthrough. He says his energy's bomb and asks his mentor for some of the good pills, but she tells him to keep dreaming. That night, the Golden Geezer becomes anxious since Bai and the others still haven't returned from their secret mission in the underground, and soon they'll have to come clean. The principal decides to send out all second-rank fighters, quietly wondering if humanity's peaceful days are ending. Meanwhile, Fang heads to his first class underground when Youngxi suddenly calls out and asks if he's seen her teacher Bai. Just then, someone announces that the survivors have reached the south gate. Their two trucks roll in slowly and nurses begin unloading lifeless bodies in a heavy silence. Youngxi finally spots her mentor and smiles until she realizes all that's left is a torn, blood-soaked shirt where her left arm used to be. As the students stand frozen by what just happened, the Golden Geezer and a few other masters float down from above. He looks a bit gloomy but still tries to lighten the mood, saying that just making it back alive is good enough. Bai turns to Lu and asks her to take over Youngxi's training, which makes the poor girl tear up as she asks if her master doesn't want to teach her anymore. Lu gently explains that Bai has suffered serious internal injuries and will need at least 2 to 3 years to recover. Just then, another guy steps off the bus and announces that the Lanceway underground forces rebelled, costing them the lives of 6 precious meteors. The Golden Geezer steps forward, ordering him to arrange proper burials and take good care of the heroes' families. Watching all this unfold, Fang is completely lost and wonders what this underground business even is and what secrets this so-called place really holds. As the story progresses, everyone gathers in front of the graves of the mighty heroes who lost their lives for the noble cause and raises their elbows in salute before bursting into tears. The next day, the female mentor teaches the students all the necessary details about the underground caverns. She explains that the first documented entrance to the caverns was discovered around 800 years ago when a massive earthquake struck Sishin and the ground cracked open, causing widespread casualties. The Chronicles of Origin reveal that the first portal opened purely by accident and allowed underground creatures to learn the world above, with powers exceeding that of a 9th-ranked warrior and going beyond human capabilities. Fang asks the teacher why they cannot simply pass through the gateway, and she tells him that breaking the spatial isolation would come at an extreme cost, although recent research indicates that the isolation has been steadily weakening since the first portal appeared. She adds that there are currently 22 gateways that are not interconnected, and that further information remains out of reach, while also noting that the number of underground beings far outnumbers humanity and that the area holds intensely valuable resources. After class, Bai once again approaches Master Lu, pleading with her to take Youngsi in as her pupil. Lu hesitates for a moment but eventually agrees to give the girl a chance, then gently asks Bai to leave due to her declining health. As Bai walks away, Lu turns a bit stern toward Youngsi, accusing her of wasting resources. Fang steps in to defend her, but Lu quickly turns her attention to him instead, questioning why he has only tempered 6 coins so far. Fang puts on his best crocodile tears, claiming his family is too old and he heavily relies on those coins to make progress. Hearing that, Lu softens and offers him some resources before handing him a scroll. She tells him to wait at the